How Argyll sets up a prequel, sequel and ties into another spy franchise. Argyll stars Henry Cavill and Bryce Dallas Howard in a spy action comedy that comes with many twists and turns regarding the titular agent. It's not the spy Henry Cavill plays, as he's a fictional character in a novel. However, the author turns out to be the real spy, reworking memories and putting them on the page after having her memories altered by the Division. This is none other than Bryce Dallas Howard's Elly Conway, or as she learns when she unlocks her memories, the Sia's Rachel Kylle. Thankfully, Rachel is able to snap out of her mind control due to the help of her friends, and eventually brings the Division down. However, there are many liminal threads left dangling that can expand this universe, including a stunning link to the Kingsman movies. After director Matthew Vaughn wraps the film, there is a post-credits scene showing actor Louis Partridge as a young spy sent 20 years earlier to a mysterious bar. This place is called the Kingsman, where the British bartender gives him a pistol and enlists him for a mission. The spy confirms his name is Aubrey Argylle, leaving fans a tad confused. He's actually the precursor to the character Cavill plays in Elly's fictional stories. Thus, one has to wonder how Argyll could exist at this point. This cameo doesn't explain, however, how Elly would have memories of him. As a result, the show can detail Argyll working for the Kingsman service, or if his enrollment was a joint operation between the CIA and the British Secret Service agency that Vaughn adapted from the Mark Millar comics. Either way, there is a lot to divulge, especially as Elly imagined Argyll as a James Bond type of a spy and a near unbeatable legend. As Vaughn used Kingsman, the Golden Circle, to have his Kingsman unit working with the American chapter, Statesman, it does feel like this is the beginning of his shared universe. The Argyll prequel can easily create the mythology that Elly would cling to when she was brainwashed and started writing novels for the Division. There is potential to have Argyll going after younger versions of the Division's boss, Ritter, and his PSYOPs chief, Ruth. This allows Vaughn to show the other operatives from the list that Rachel, Elly wanted to expose to the CIA and the world, giving these assassins a chance to shine. The brainwashing programs and other technologies are further fodder for Argyll to deal with, explaining why the Division would have him in their database. It could also explain why Elly may have absorbed his presence into her subconscious after gathering data on the villains for years. The Argyll post-credits scene ends by confirming Argyll, the first book, will be Vaughn's next movie in the franchise. This is poised to dive into the first book in Elly's story, when she thought she was Ritter and Ruth's daughter. What's most intriguing is this film can use Partridge, but more than likely, it'll employ Cavill and once more allow him to show his spy chops in the wake of him already taking part in The Man from U.N.C.L.E., Mission Impossible, Fallout, and the upcoming The Ministry of Ungentlemanly Warfare from Guy Ritchie. This notion is sparked when Elly sees a trucker version of Argyll asking her about her work. It's Cavill in disguise, which shows that Argyll has been alive all this time. Argyll, the first book, can look into whatever jobs he had in his history, the romances he couldn't follow through on, and why he waited so long to introduce himself to Elly. It could well be that Elly may have had a romance with him while she played that double agent for the CIA and Division. It would explain her crushing on him, why she built up his stories over 5 books, and could even add a love triangle wrinkle to her life with her lover Aiden. In that sense, Argyll, the first book, can act as both a prequel and sequel, with Vaughn already touting it as part of a trilogy he wants to do with Cavill. It will be intriguing to learn how Argyll continued his battle with the Division after the show, how he balanced life with the Kingsman and CIA, and which other affiliates he's linked to. This further presents a chance to bring a younger version of Samuel L. Jackson's Alfred back into play. He, along with Aiden, have many secrets, which gives Vaughn a chance to show that there was indeed a bigger story happening in the background when Rachel was out of the spy game as a novelist. Because she envisioned a partner for Argyll and Wyatt, Vaughn also has a chance to create a hilarious action comedy that brings both men's enthralling charisma and overall dynamic to life. Audiences enjoyed their moments in Elly's story, setting the stage to paint Argyll and Wyatt as competent agents in the CIA and Kingsman's plans. Vaughn has said he is plotting a third agency as part of a big crossover. He's coy regarding if it's a heroic agency or a sinister one. However, still, a massive agency war is brewing. Vaughn has another Kingsman prequel to detail the history of these modern knights, as well as a sequel to the Golden Circle, one that will bring Harry and his nephew, Eggsy, back as they rebuild the service. These can all tie into the next 2 Argyll stories after this movie, especially with the Division possibly having other bosses and assassins out on the loose. The Division could even be an extension of another enemy, or a target another governmental agency wants to take out. With Rachel, Aiden, Alfred, and the tech genius Kara all together again, and Argyll in the mix, they can form a new coalition to figure out who this third party is besides the CIA and Kingsman, and if they can be trusted. From the crossover in Argyll, everyone has secrets, so cooperation will be a key issue. Argyll does lay the proper foundation to explore who else has infiltrators and double agents in the game, nodding to the James Bond movies where even heroic organizations had civil wars. Seeing as Elly's team didn't watch Ruth die at Ritter's base, that's one person who has agents to program all over the world, like the Winter Soldier. She could even have brainwashed politicians and CIA agents under her thumb. In addition, Saba betrayed Elly's team and worked with Ritter to keep the database of killers secure. Strangely enough, actor Sofia Boutella didn't get to cut loose, which she did in the Kingsman world as the Lethal Gazelle. That's another villain with an army for Argyll 2 to contend with. All in all, once Vaughn works out the continuity kinks, he has the players in place to continue his vision. It's very much modeled after a comic book universe, so viewers won't be sticklers for retcons as the full scope of Vaughn's evil empire comes to light. This has fans eager to see how all these forces collide now that Elly, Rachel has uncovered a much more expansive spy network with other seedy groups acting for selfish reasons.